Greetings, everyone, and welcome to my new podcast, affectionately called Human. Yes, see, Human is going to be a lifestyle podcast where I will cover everything from one of my favorite topics. Yes, you guessed it, all things HR, but I'm going to throw in some benefits, payroll, compensation, HRIS, some training, recruiting, but we're not going to stop there, y'all. We are going to be doing mental, physical, and financial well-being discussions. We're going to talk corporate America. We're going to talk about entrepreneurship, consulting, career and executive coaching, mentorships, a little bit of DE&I, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and even we're going to talk about serving on a board. So I also want to make sure that we cover some of the most popular topics, which is how to prevent burnout. And we got to throw some fun in there, y'all. And event planning is going to be on the list and much, much more. Now, one of the things we can't forget is that my Give Back book to HR is definitely going to be a part of the topic. Yes, HR, where's your freaking sense of humor, is going to be on the docket as well. And I'm inviting you to join me in studio or virtually, both depending on the topic and my freaking amazing guest. So without further ado, I want to start by introducing some really amazing people to you today who said yes to me when I called, and I really do appreciate them. And they're just going to drop in and give a little of an introduction and just share a little bit about them today. And then lo and behold, we are going to have them in studio again in the coming days and weeks. So I want to start with a very special person who's a professional that I call a lifelong friend as well as a partner. And this dates back, this relationship, 2 decades, almost 2 decades, y'all. When I first met her, she figuratively and literally made space for me. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. So without further ado, Monique, please introduce yourself to my audience and share some of the exciting news and the word on the wind that you have for us today.
Thank you for your kind words, Carol. You've been as big a gift to me as I ever could have been to you. So my name is Monique LaCour. Carol and I have known each other for over 20 years. My passion is collaboration. My expertise is just building collaborative communities because I'm all about helping people take that thing that's in their head and in their heart and in their soul and turn it into something real, and then just rallying people around them to help them get that thing off the ground and make it a success. So with that in mind, I started a collaborative space back in 2015. Worked out really well. All kinds of businesses, all kinds of families, moms, kids came into that space and they thrived, they grew quickly, and then life happened, and then COVID happened after life. So I put the pause button on for a little while, and thank goodness we got past COVID. Now I've got people calling me back saying, you got to put that thing back online. It's just, Houston, we've got spaces. Yeah. What you are doing there, nobody's doing. So I told Carol, she wanted me to share that I am going back online. The former space was Houston Business Lounge. Don't know what I'm going to call the new one, but going to bring in the old folks again. And the whole idea is to get people together who have really great ideas, don't know where to start, don't know who to partner up with, and just rally around them, love on them, help them get off the ground, and then help them just grow and thrive. And throw everything at them we possibly can. And then we don't let them go once they're successful.
Absolutely.
So I'm really excited about it. And
I
Carol
am
has
super
just been
excited
with me the whole time, supporting me.
Yes, I am so excited, y'all. I could just hop out of this seat when she gave me the good news on yesterday. So we are looking forward to having Monique in studio or even virtually. And we really appreciate you joining today. So thank you so much, Monique, for that amazing overview. And now we're going to switch to someone. Have you ever seen brilliance mixed with grace? Well, Bria is exactly what you're going to get when you mix those two things together. And let me add 10 more years to that list today. And she is considered my lifelong friend and one of my trusted resources. And I so appreciate her joining me today. And so I'm going to let Bria introduce herself and share some really big news with you today.
Thank you, Carol, for that lovely background introduction. I mean, congratulations to you on starting this journey. Excited to be a part of it. You've been a long time advocate, friend, and mentor for me. So I so appreciate this. Yeah, as Carol's mentioned, I have been in this industry, in the space of global benefit solutions for actually 10 plus years, 15 years, designing and delivering innovative and strategic benefit solutions for diverse clients across various industries and regions around the globe. Work with some of the world's leading Fortune 500 companies, helping them to optimize their benefit programs and enhance their employee engagement and retention. Consider myself to be a thought leader and advisor, and I'm really passionate about creating value for my clients and delivering exceptional service and outcomes. I am the owner and founder of Worldview Benefit Advisors, which was legally formed last year and based right here in Houston, Texas. And Worldview Benefit Advisors is a boutique employee benefits consulting firm that specializes in creating tailored solutions for multinational businesses, and it provides, empowers clients to enhance their employee benefit offerings and compete effectively in the global market. In addition to group benefits, the company can assist with individuals needing global insurance, everyday travelers taking trips for business or for leisure. And our ultimate goal is just to assist clients with navigating international benefits with ease, sophistication, and confidence. It's no coincidence that for myself personally, my career focus actually leans into a personal interest, which is traveling. I truly enjoy experiencing other cultures and have traveled to several countries around the world. Some of my favorite destinations have been South Africa, Colombia, Italy, Spain, Morocco, Australia, Thailand, and the UAE, just to name a few. And given my international travels, I've essentially touched every continent on the globe, except Antarctica, which is pretty cool. But a quick funny story I like to tell about my travels abroad is my very first international trip. That was a study abroad trip to Spain while in college. And all of the students were assigned to live with a local family who only spoke the local language to enhance our experience and allow us to adapt and appreciate the local culture. And like I said, this was my very first time abroad. And being American, I didn't realize that in Europe and most countries outside the US, their food portions are much, much smaller. So after the first couple of meals with my host family, I realized it wasn't enough for me. I kept asking for servings, and they had to keep making multiple grocery visits in a week just to keep up with my American appetite. And it's funny because my host family affectionately referred to me as their hambrienta, which pretty much translates to little hungry girl, which I loved and was totally spot on. And all these years later, the same appetite is still there.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that is amazing. Y'all knew. Now, Bria brought it. We are looking for not only the facts and the details, but I'm ready for people to bring a freaking sense of humor. That is an amazing story, Bria. I had not heard that one. I will try not to call you my little hungry girl, but we are still here in the U.S., so
it's all love.
It's all love, definitely. And I appreciate you joining me today, and I look forward to having you in studio. And so, without further ado, we're going to go to my next person on the docket, and that is Barb Dean, aka Nurse Barb. You came into my life when life was HOTT, hot, literally. And now what you don't know is that you're stuck with me for life. And so without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Barb and let her introduce herself and share how she makes us all better.
Oh my gosh, I'm happy to be stuck with you, and it's not a burden at all. I love meeting you the first time, and when you reached out to talk about this podcast and you're calling it human, I thought, oh yeah, we have so much to talk about. You have so much wisdom. And the thing is, Carol, you attract amazing people into your life because what you put out in the world that light and that joy just brings it right back. And I've been on stage with Carol, and the wisdom that she's able to share really brings people in. So I love how engaging you are. And what do I do? I'm a women's health nurse practitioner, and I love educating people about complex health topics. And so I started a publishing company about 20 years ago, and we've distributed women's health guides in the areas of pregnancy and fertility, menopause, and breastfeeding, and all kinds of stuff to over 7 million women worldwide in English, Spanish, and in Mandarin. And then I took that passion that I take with my patients one-on-one in an exam room, and I'm Nurse Barb on NBC's California Live, where I'm the medical expert that brings information, again, complicated health information to people, because I believe that if you empower people with information, we can trust them to make the decisions that are best for them. And so that's really, really been my passion. And when I met Carolyn, we were starting to talk about how health and mental health impacts people, real human beings who also happen to be employees, not just partners and daughters and sons and family members, but as employees, when we recognize that people have some challenges. Absolutely. And when you address them, not only do you help that person, but you also help the bottom line. So yeah, it's nice to do, right, at a company, but it's also helping the bottom line. And Carol, when you told me about all of your initiatives, that you had this awareness and that you recognized that things needed to change, but then you implemented it very, very quickly with a freaking sense of humor, I was all in. So I think you're kind of stuck with me.
Definitely. Well, she definitely, her bio, Barb's bio, goes on and on and on. Did you guys hear that? The correspondent? It's just an honor to serve alongside you, and you have done more education for the body of HR and our community and as for employers in just a short period of time than I've seen many people do over many years. So thank you so much, Barb, what you do for me and for our community. And so with that said, y'all, we're gonna keep this train going and introduce to you Jasani Courtney. So now I was talking about 2 decades, 10 years, but I met Jasani 10 days ago, and we began to chat like we knew each other for 10 years. We could have talked for hours on all things HR. And so, but for now, I want him to introduce himself and tell this audience about the cool things we actually do have in common.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, first off, congratulations, Carol. Phenomenal calling that you have. And I think the HR community and just folks in general are just going to be blessed through what you're going to deliver. I think folks don't even know like how awesome this is going to be. So thank you for inviting me to be part of this and to share this experience with you. And so, yeah, I mean, so the truth of the matter is, although we only talked 10 days ago, I've LinkedIn stalked you for quite some time. It's one of those things where, you know, you see content and you just gravitate towards people who know it. They got it and they have engaging content. And I do the same thing. And the whole aspect of iron sharpens iron. You just want to connect with like-minded people that have a mission and they're driven to help people. So I followed your content for some time. But the conversation we had last week was just awesome because I was like, holy crap, are we sure we're not related? Who's your daddy on your mama's side? You know, let's make sure. But you know, in terms of what I do right now, I'm out of Houston, Texas. I currently work as the Vice President of Human Resources for the American Bureau of Shipping. What I basically do is I run HR operations for North and South America, Europe, Middle East, and Africa for a maritime organization. I've been very blessed out of my 21 years of human resources to be able to lead international teams. And so I have I have a typical savvy in terms of like being able to relate to folks and appreciate different cultures when you have a global workforce, because today's workforce, everything's global. Everything doesn't center around the United States. And all of our economies are connected. And so the more you understand that we're a global family, and what happens on one part of the world impacts the other part of the world. And oh, by the way, what works in one country doesn't work in another country,
Right.
then you can really help your company thrive in terms of that. But in terms of my true calling, you know, I still got my start in HR in the military. I'm a former Army officer, and I actually did HR in the Army. And but I've always been driven to bring out the best in people. You see something that they may not see in themselves, and give them the confidence and the resources and the tools to get out, to bring out the best of themselves. Absolutely. And contribute better to their organizations. That's also why I started my podcast, My Friend in HR, because there's really a need to equip the average employee to figure out, like, how do you have a fulfilling career? What does a fulfilling career even look like? What's the difference between a job and a career? If I get a job offer, can I negotiate it, or will they take the offer away? And get these fears out of the way so they can actually make data-driven decisions that are best for them and their family. Because at the end of the day, our jobs are meant to support our life. Our life is not meant to support our job. And so how do we equip people to be able to better do that? And so I do that not only with my podcast and some of the extra work that I'm fortunate to participate in, but also in my current role. 90% of my job is working with executives to get the best out of their human capital, get the best out of their people, and to show that profitability and career fulfillment do not have to be mutually exclusive. As a matter of fact, they fit hand in hand if you do it the right way. And so if you just take time to ask employees what they want and what they're good at and what they're talented at, but yet at the same time, challenge them to do more, they can reach goals and heights that they never thought. And oh, by the way, they're going to take the company with them because their contributions will help the company reach those strategic goals. So that's really what I like to do. I like to really help people, help leaders, help organizations become the best that they can be. And at the end of the day, that's what it's really about. Because as your podcast is called Human, it's all about what the human factor is. So looking forward to being a partner, looking forward to collaborating with the rest of the folks, and I look forward to talking to you more in the future there.
Excellent, y'all. My friend in HR. Thank you so much, Mr. Courtney. You are amazing. I knew it. I keep stalking. We'll be stalking each other in a good way, definitely. Thank you so much for joining me. And so, but without further ado, y'all, we've got a special person that I want to introduce. So speaking of having something in common, please allow me to introduce you to my sponsor, my motivator, my professional touchstone, my rock, the man of my dreams, Bobby McBride. He has joined us today, and a little fun fact before he gets started is that we actually met at work almost 25 years ago. So with that being said, Bobby, please introduce yourself.
Wow, thank you for that introduction. Yes, and I feel the same about you, and so I really want to talk about you for a second. I'm so incredibly proud of this podcast that you put together. You have some really impressive podcast guests, and so I can't wait to see what the future holds for you. I know this has been a passion of yours, and so I'm just incredibly excited for you and so very proud of you in everything that you're doing. So kudos to you. Thank you. And everything that you said, right back at you. So I am a payroll professional and have been for over 30 years. I manage a team at a healthcare company, an amazing healthcare company. We're responsible for ensuring the accurate and timely processing of payroll for our team members. I say that intentionally because oftentimes than not, that's really what people think we do, right? They think that we just kind of sit at a desk, push buttons, and magically paychecks appear in your bank account. But, you know, we're so much more than that, right? And so I feel that we really have to be experts in every facet that touches a paycheck, right? For instance, we must be knowledgeable in the compliance of payroll tax laws, for instance, and the regulations that govern them, even on a federal, state, and local level. And so that gives us the responsibility of ensuring that, you know, things like overtime is calculated correctly, shift differentials are paid correctly, whether things are pre or post-tax as it comes into the paycheck for processing. And so believe it or not, we're just not sitting at our desk pushing a button and magically, waving a wand and your paychecks are appearing. I feel that we have to be experts that allow us really to be able to collaborate with other areas, such as HR, benefits, tax, compensation even. So, and as my wife mentioned, her and I met by working at the same organization some 25 years ago. I was actually processing garnishments, and she, of course, was in HR. But even though we were in different areas, we were able to collaborate on common topics and goals. And even today, when we come home from work, I think there's a huge benefit to our relationship and our marriage that we're able to sit down and actually kind of talk shop, if you will, as in the areas of work. So again, I'm excited to be here. I'm going to call you wifey because I don't call you by your first name, but I'm going to support you in all of this area, and I'm super excited to see kind of what the future holds for this.
Oh, thank you so much. I really do appreciate, as I said, my sponsor, y'all. He never says no, but he's so thoughtful, and to support someone on this journey, it means a lot. And I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you for 25 amazing years of just support. And he did not share, he also served our country as well, did his role in the Air Force as well. And so I just want to thank you and Jasani for all that you've done for our country as well. And thank you so much for joining us today and taking time out of your schedule. And so without further ado, all I can really say is, wow, aren't these people incredible? I'm sure many of you are just shaking your heads yes with me, and I hope you are excited as I am about meeting these incredible humans in the coming weeks. And so with that said, I want to thank you all for participating today, and I'm looking forward to seeing you soon right here on my new podcast, Human. So now, to wrap up each of our show, I want to talk to you about some other special twists and additions that we're going to have, along with having a freaking sense of humor, amazing guests. We're going to have a hot topic segment where I will be talking about things like, where is my next speaking engagement? What's some upcoming events in HR, conferences, whether they're local, they're regional, they're national, and even some good reads. All of us love a good book from time to time, whether it's osmosis or we're actually picking them up and flipping the pages. Wherever you want to do, we're going to be giving it to you right here on Human. So with that said, what's on the calendar so far? Well, glad you asked. So I'm proud to share that I will be a panelist and speaker at the 48th Annual Southwest Benefits Association Conference next week in San Antonio, Texas. I will partner with LearnLux to talk about all things financial wellness on May 15th through May 17th. My session will be called Financial Wellness, Addressing Retirement Readiness, Workforce Planning, Student Loans, and more. Now, the next item that's on the list, and I'm hoping that one of my special guests today will also be in attendance and be blessing the stage with her information. That is the 2024 Gulf Coast Symposium on HR Issues, which is going to be in Houston on August 7th through the 8th. And that is going to be an exciting time. They always put on a great conference in Houston, and hoping to see you there. And then last but certainly not least, SHRM. The SHRM 2024 is going to be in Chicago. Now, we're talking about the biggest conference in the world for HR professionals, all things HR, and all the topics we'll be covering here on Human. That's going to be in Chicago, June 23rd through the 26th. So lots of things going on in the life of HR, benefits, compensation, as my husband shared payroll. And then we've got people like Monique, who's coming in and being an incubator for brilliance. We've got Nurse Barb, who's just making sure that all things human and lifestyle and health are top on the docket. So with that said, we are going to have an amazing time on our show. Notice I said our show, called Human. So, boy, how does time fly? It's almost the end of my segment, but I'm hoping that this is going to continue to be a time where we will have a freaking sense of humor, and it will just be fun, but informational. So, until next time, please click, like, share, and subscribe to all my socials. And remember, we are all only freaking human. Bye for now.